What if the difference between a struggling farmer and a millionaire farmer isn't land size, equipment, or even experience? It's simply knowing which crops to grow. Right now, there are farmers pulling 6 and 7 figures off plots smaller than a suburban backyard, while their neighbors work twice as hard growing corn at $3 a bushel and wonder why the numbers never add up. The secret isn't luck. It isn't inheritance. It's information. Today we're counting down the 10 most profitable crops every serious farmer needs to know. And number 1 has been quietly building generational wealth in Europe for centuries, while American growers are only now waking up to it. Stay with me until the end. This one will change how you think about the land beneath your feet. At number 10, we have ginseng, the crop that sounds like folklore but pays like Wall Street. Most farmers walk past wild ginseng without a second thought. Smart farmers cultivate it deliberately and retire early. Ginseng root takes 5 to 10 years to mature, which scares most people away. That's exactly why you should lean in. Dried ginseng root sells for $300 to $600 per pound in domestic markets, and premium woods-grown varieties fetch up to $1,000 per pound in Asian export markets where demand is insatiable. 1 acre of mature ginseng can produce 200 to 300 pounds of dried root. Do that math slowly. A single acre of ginseng at modest prices clears $60,000 at harvest. And that's before you factor in seed sales, which bring in $50 to $150 per pound on their own. According to USDA agricultural data, ginseng consistently ranks among the top 5 highest value crops per acre in North America. A grower in West Virginia reported netting over $40,000 from less than half an acre of woods grow en route after just 7 years of patient tending. The real money is in starting now, because ginseng rewards patience the way compound interest rewards discipline. Now let's talk about something that most farmers think belongs in a spice rack, not a field. At number 9, saffron. The most expensive spice on earth by weight, and it grows from a crocus bulb you can order online for $2 a piece. Saffron threads sell for $5,000 to $10,000 per pound wholesale, and premium retail saffron clears $15,000 per pound in specialty markets. Here's the part that will shock you. It takes roughly 170,000 flowers to produce a single pound of saffron. That sounds overwhelming until you understand spacing. 1 acre holds roughly 500,000 bulbs. The math flips entirely in your favor. A Pennsylvania family farm reported grossing over $90,000 from a single saffron acre in one growing season. The harvesting window is only 2 to 3 weeks in autumn, which means this crop demands intensity for a short sprint, then pays you for the rest of the year. It also reblooms annually from the same bulbs for 3 to 5 years before replanting. Plant once. Harvest repeatedly. Build wealth. Moving into territory most American farmers have completely ignored. At number 8, we have wasabi. If you've ever paid $18 for a tiny ceramic dish of green paste at a Japanese restaurant, you've already contributed to one of the most profitable agricultural markets most growers have never considered. Authentic wasabi, not the horseradish and green dye mixture served at 90% of restaurants, sells for $100 to $150 per pound wholesale, and the retail market pushes $250 per pound for premium product. It's notoriously difficult to grow, which is precisely the opportunity. Wasabi demands cold, clean, running water and shade, conditions that many Appalachian and Pacific Northwest farms already have naturally. A small operation in North Carolina growing wasabi hydroponically reported first-year revenues of $35,000 on just 800 square feet of growing space. The difficulty isn't a barrier, it's a moat. The harder something is to grow, the fewer competitors you'll face at market. At number 7, moringa. If you haven't heard this name yet, write it down, because commercial agriculture has been quietly stockpiling it for a decade. Moringa oleifera is sometimes called the miracle tree, and the nutritional research behind it is staggering. More vitamin C than oranges, more calcium than milk, more protein per ounce than most legumes. According to studies published through Johns Hopkins University research programs, Moringa shows measurable promise in addressing malnutrition and metabolic health, which has driven institutional demand through the roof. Dried moringa leaf powder sells for $20 to $40 per pound retail. The tree grows in warm climates, reaches harvestable height within 6 months of planting, and can be cut back and reharvested up to 3 times per year. One farmer in Florida reported clearing over $50,000 annually from 2 acres of moringa grown for a supplement manufacturer. The global moringa market is projected to exceed $9 billion by 2028. The window is open. The question is whether you step through it. At number 6, vanilla, the second most expensive spice in the world, and almost nobody grows it domestically. Madagascar controls roughly 80% of the global vanilla supply, which means American vanilla growers face almost zero domestic competition. Pure vanilla extract sells for $400 to $600 per pound. The beans themselves bring $50 to $200 per pound depending on grade and cure quality. Vanilla is a climbing orchid that takes 3 years to first flower and requires hand pollination, details that eliminate most casual growers and protect margins for serious ones. A greenhouse operation in Hawaii reported generating over $120,000 annually from 4,000 square feet of vanilla cultivation after year 4 of establishment. The startup costs are real, roughly $15,000 to $25,000 per acre to establish. But the long-term returns create the kind of income that outlasts equipment and outlives market swings. At number 5, hemp. This is the crop that was federally banned for 70 years and came roaring back as one of the highest margin plants in modern agriculture. CBD hemp flower sells for $150 to $300 per pound. Hemp seed brings $60 to $80 per pound for food-grade product. Fiber hemp contracts with textile manufacturers can generate $2,000 to $4,000 per acre annually. And here's what the mainstream agricultural press underreports. Hemp is a natural soil remediator, meaning it actively improves the land it grows on, increasing value for every crop that follows. According to USDA hemp reports, since the 2018 Farm Bill, the number of licensed hemp acres in the U.S. has grown over 400% in 5 years. That growth curve is not an accident. A Tennessee grower with 12 acres of CBD hemp reported grossing $260,000 in a single season. The regulations are still evolving by state, so verify local compliance. But for growers in hemp-friendly states, the opportunity is enormous. At number 4, lavender. This is where farming stops being just agriculture and starts being an empire. Lavender essential oil sells for $250 to $500 per liter. Dried bundles move at farmers markets for $8 to $25 each. But the real money for lavender growers isn't in the plant itself. It's in the agritourism model that lavender uniquely enables. A lavender farm in Oregon with just 8 acres generates over $300,000 annually through a combination of you-pick visitor fees at $30 per person, essential oil production, dried product sales, lavender, infused food products, and private event hosting. That's 12 income streams from one crop. Smart farmers already know that diversification within a single crop is more powerful than diversifying across multiple crops. Lavender is the crop that proves it. Startup costs run roughly $10,000 to $15,000 per acre, including plants, irrigation, and distillation equipment, and productive lavender plants live 20 or more years. Now we're entering the tier where the numbers get extraordinary. At number 3, mushrooms. The only crop on this list that requires no sunlight, no soil, and no seasons. Gourmet mushrooms, oyster, shiitake, lion's mane, maitake, sell for $8 to $25 per pound at farmers markets and $12 to $35 per pound direct to restaurants. A 10 by 10 growing space, properly set up with substrate bags and humidity control, can produce 50 to 100 pounds of mushrooms per month. That's a potential $1,200 to $3,000 per month from a closet. Scale that to a dedicated outbuilding and the numbers become genuinely life-changing. A mushroom grower in Michigan built a 7,000 square foot facility, and now sells over $200,000 of gourmet mushrooms annually to a network of Detroit area restaurants. Startup costs for a serious mushroom operation run $10,000 to $30,000, with payback periods as short as 8 to 14 months according to agricultural extension data from multiple Midwest universities. And here's the part that seals it. Mushrooms can grow year-round, meaning this is one of the only crops on this list with zero seasonal revenue gaps. At number 2, microgreens, the highest revenue per square foot crop in the history of commercial agriculture. This is not an exaggeration. Microgreens, the young seedlings of vegetables and herbs harvested at 7 to 14 days, sell for $25 to $50 per pound to restaurants, grocery stores, and direct consumers. A single 10 by 20 tray produces 1 to 2 pounds of product in under 2 weeks. A spare bedroom converted to a microgreens grow room can house over 100 trays simultaneously. One grower in Austin, Texas built a $40,000 per month microgreens business in under 18 months, starting from a spare room, a grow light, and a restaurant contact list. According to agricultural market research, the microgreens industry has grown over 15% year over year since 2019, with no sign of deceleration. Startup costs are staggeringly low, under $5,000 to begin a serious operation. Cycle time is 2 weeks. Revenue is immediate. Show me another agricultural model with that return profile. You'll be looking for a long time. And at number 1, truffles, the crop that has built multi-generational wealth on European farms for centuries, and that American growers are only now beginning to exploit at scale. Black Perigord truffles sell for $100 to $1,500 per pound wholesale. White Alba truffles, the rarest of all, command $3,000 to $5,000 per pound and occasionally spike higher during poor harvest years in Italy. The secret that European truffle dynasties have guarded carefully is this. Truffles grow in a symbiotic relationship with tree roots, primarily oak and hazelnut, meaning you're not just growing a crop, you're growing an ecosystem asset that appreciates in value every single year. Inoculated truffle saplings can be purchased for $10 to $25 each. Truffles take 5 to 7 years to first produce, but once they begin, a single mature truffle orchard can yield 30 to 100 pounds per acre annually for decades. A California truffle operation that planted inoculated oaks on 40 acres in 2010 reported its first significant harvest in 2016, and now generates over $400,000 per year with minimal ongoing labor. According to data from the American Truffle Company, domestic truffle demand currently far exceeds domestic supply, meaning the market for American-grown truffles is essentially unlimited for any grower willing to plant today and think 10 years ahead. The most powerful financial moves always look patient from the outside. So there you have it. 10 crops that have quietly made ordinary people financially independent, from a spare bedroom in Austin to a 40-acre truffle orchard in California. These aren't get-rich-quick schemes. They're get-rich-smart strategies that reward knowledge, patience, and the willingness to do what the majority of farmers won't. If this opened your eyes to opportunities you didn't know were growing right under your feet, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications, because we break down this kind of insider agricultural intelligence every single week. And before you go, check out the next video on your screen where we expose the 10 most expensive mistakes new farmers make in their first year. Mistakes that cost some growers everything before they ever turn to profit. You don't want to learn those lessons the hard way. The richest farmers aren't the ones working the hardest. They're the ones who know what to plant,